Hi, everybody. Wow. A few days after Shavuos, we're all here together. And thank you for joining in. Had so much to say. But I'm going to switch tracks today because of everything that's been going on. Oh my gosh, what we, the people, have been going through between the terrorism, between the COVID, between this pandemic, lockdown, and when things are starting to open up and seem like things are slowly getting back to normal, all of a sudden, not quarantine, but lockdown and curfews. Yes. And I am just decided we need to get together here and hopefully discuss things that are connected to our brain training regarding fear, anxiety, and ruminating and thinking, overthinking what will be, and everything that could be taking over our mind right now. And I've been getting a lot of calls from adults and from children that I work with, that they're just very, very anxious and very taken over by what's been going on in the world. So I hope this finds you well. I hope the words always coming from my heart, enter yours. And whether you're a child, whether your children, are dealing with this unknown and what's going on in the world, this is what's going to hopefully help them and help you, my dear child, forever. Because as we were learning that our mind either can be dominated by negativity, or we can be proactive like a garden and plant seeds of positivity. And the more we are busy with training our mind in this way, the more power we have to overcome these thoughts that are not positive. So this is really the reason why we're on this earth. The main mission is to conquer our territories, our mind, our heart, and have a takeover, so that the Yetzaharas and the inner voices and the inner doubts and the inner avenger, I call them, can't take over. And that we can, with the strength of our mind, as if someone's at our door, God forbid, and wanting to come in and if they want to steal something, that we have a bolt on the door and that we can close it tight so they can't as easily come in. And this takes work, and this takes preparation, and this is the mission, the reason why we exist. There's a sentence that's called Dira Betachtonim, which is the Dira, which is like a home Hashem wants down here. Hashem wants to reside in our mind. Hashem wants to reside in our heart. Hashem wants us to have him with us 24/7. So how do you do that? Well, my original goal for right after Shavuos was to focus on that. But before we do, I felt this is just really important to discuss. The fear factor. Yes, fears, anxieties of the unknown. So we have been learning everything that is a non-positive entity has a positive entity. Meaning anything and everything in the world, for instance, in our neshama that wants to be channeled, all these positive energies of whatever qualities we have. And if we're not channeling it in the positive, then it goes automatically to the negative. And we are born that way. We're born with these negative attributes that we, again, are gifted with. Yes, because the negative is actually a positive. It's just we have to channel it. Remember, we were learning fire, water, air, and earth in the first beginning classes that we have on our YouTube channel, and we've been learning how all these negatives are actually really positive. We just have to channel it. And remember that the fire element was, in the negative, anger, fear, anxiety, boasting, arrogance. So today we're just going to more focus on the anxiety, fear factor because of what's been going on in the world. And I think it's like really important now, like how to really micromanage, handle this energy so it doesn't take over us and we take it over to the other side, to the side of positivity. So anxiety is fear, right? A person is fearful of the unknown. They're fearful of even things that are happening. That's not just the unknown. It's happening. Something's happening right now. And so the brain starts to think and think and think like how that it'll affect them, how, you know, that it's not, so that it could be scary and it could be, you know, so taken over by the person. So fear, what's the underlying good quality of fear? Is wonderment. Like, you know, if you think about, oh my gosh, this was like mind-blowing. I'm so blown away over like something so beautiful. Like someone maybe made you a surprise party or something, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're just in awe that your friends did such a nice thing. Or your brother may have surprised you and you know, bought you a gift, you know, out of nowhere because he made some money and he wanted to make you happy. And so you're like wowed by his kindness, you know? So when we more use this fire in a good way, the more we channel it toward positivity, and look at the world and what is beautiful and what is like mind-blowingly, excitingly beyond our understanding of how it can be, to the things that are like miraculous, to the things that are happening like in a way that's so mind-blowing. How, I don't know how much more I can say this word. So the more we're capable of spending time focusing on what is so amazingly good in the world by God's creation, the more we use this fear factor in a good and holy and positive way, the more the Yetzer Hara can't take it and use it against us to make us sad, anxious, nervous, and full of anxiety. So let's give some basic examples. You're walking down the street and all of a sudden you see the most spectacular, like beautiful flower that's growing in a crack of a rock. Have you ever like seen that? Like, how did that flower get in that crack? And like, it's like, wow. The power of that little seed somehow took root in nothingness, nothing to really make it grow. And yet it's like stunningly beautiful, like as if it's in the orchard or something. It's like so miraculous. So spending time, even in your own bedroom, and like thinking about some of the wonders of Hashem, like for instance, like the sun just every day coming up, going down, coming up, coming down. It's like, and how the sun gives so much life to this world, and just like catch yourself, different parts of your day in your own special way, the way you like to, and cultivate and develop and make this awe and wonderment be a strong anchor in your life, so that all day long, hopefully, you'll be in awe and wonderment, even when things don't go so your way. I remember one time just driving by, and the one car in the block that got smashed by the tree that fell on my car, I was like, I could have like really been sad about it and mad about it and everything, but I just forced myself to like, oh my gosh, what a miracle that I wasn't in the car. Oh my gosh. And I felt so thankful, and I was like beyond, like with such a, like a positive feeling about it, and searching for the miracle of even that disaster. And I think I told you before, one time I had my teeth, so many teeth, and there was so much money, and then I just kept focusing on, well, at least it was 5 teeth and not all my teeth, and just like, wow, you know, like being so thankful and in wonderment that it only happened to 5 teeth or whatever it was. So the idea is to catch yourself in situations, even when things are not so positive, but even when things are positive, and cultivate and develop this habit. This is a brain training habit to connect to this type of energy of using the fear factor in a positive and holy way. Instead of fear, anxiety, panic, doubting, the unknown, you focus on the miracles of the moment. You focus on the awe and the wonderment of the way things turn out in life. And even when like you really can't find anything, you just like force your mind to say, soon I'm sure I'm going to be able to see how this was so for my good, and how this is so perfectly like the design, like it's almost as if, you know, the design of Esther Hamalka's life, right? Like every little thing that took place to make sure that she was in the palace to save the Jewish people. And every little, you know, step of the way of how Mordechai rose to the, like, you know, to such a high esteem by the king Ahasuerus, so that all the pieces work together. So sometimes you're not seeing the pieces right then and there, but like you train your brain to say, I know this is good, and this is going to lead to something like that I'm going to be in on wonderment soon, so that you're let go of that hold on you. Because a lot of people can get really frozen, and it just can make them so overwhelmed, and the whole day is stolen. So one of the brain training techniques that I have used for myself is from a teaching that we all probably have maybe heard, and that is, everything is in the hands of Hashem. Everything, right? So the sentence in Hebrew is Akol midei shamayim. And then it says chutz me, and chutz me means that, you know, but for, you know, everything is in the hands of Hashem except, chutz me, except, but for, this. And that is Yirat Hashem. Now, Yirat Hashem is to have fear of God, to have awe and wonderment of Hashem. Remember Yitzchak, he had a lot of fire and he excelled in Yirat Hashem, whereas Abraham was like a chesedic. That was his power was the water element. He was the one who had so much love of Hashem and loved to do kindness and love helping people. And Yitzchak wasn't gifted with that. His dominant element was Yirat Hashem. He was strong, and his quality of having fear and awe of God. So those who tend to be more anxious, let's say, than a brother or sister, are gifted with this extraordinary ability to then channel it, because that's their holy trait. That's their gem. That's their that's what makes them so extraordinarily special compared to, let's say, someone who is, gifted like Abraham with Chesed. So, what does this sentence teach us? Everything is in the hands of Hashem. Like, we trust that everything that happens is directed exactly the way it was supposed to be. Now, the only real free choice we have, because when you think about it, if everything is from Hashem, like, what's my choice in life? Hashem is doing everything. So I'm like this robot? So what's the point if everything is from Hashem? Right? Have you ever thought about it that way? But chutz meh, except you have some free choice. And what is your free choice? Your free choice is how you're going to use your yira. How are you going to fear God? And what is the word fear in Hebrew? Yira. Yira also means in Hebrew to see. So everything is in the hands of Hashem. Chutz meh, except, do you see God in this or not? Did you train your brain? Did you connect your neshama right now when this thing is happening to see God's hand in this or not? That's the only free choice. If you say, "Ugh, it's so unfair, and why did it happen to me, and I can't believe it," and then you're basically saying God is not fair, God is not involved, that everything is random, that everything just happens without some direction. Then it's a scary world. Then it's like, then it really, right? Then it's just like, it's that it could really be disturbing to think that way. So Hashem teaches us, train your mind to think this, that everything is from Hashem. So first of all, you feel protected. First of all, you don't feel like a leaf, just blowing through the wind and landing different places, because we even are taught that God causes the leaf to fly and land wherever it's supposed to land. Even a leaf. So how much more so you? So we have to train ourselves to see God in the things that are happening, even though our eyes are not seeing it. You know how they say, don't listen with your ears, listen with your heart? Right? Because if you just listen with your ears and your heart is not into listening what they're saying, you might regret the things that you say after, because you're just like, it's like your heart isn't into helping them and see that they're suffering and see that it's hard for them. So we have to train our eyes not to see with our eyes, to see with our mind, and to see it with our heart. To have faith and to understand that this seems a certain way, but we'll soon find out that that for whatever reason we had to go through that experience. So, again, we're going to take this fear factor and we're going to say the buck stops here. I'm not going to let it take over. And I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I'm not going to let it spoil my happy energy of being thankful and being, the person that I want to be, the person I'm capable of being, happy, secure, and productive. Because fear can freeze you up. Fear can keep you from using all the good in you to do the good that you're meant to do in this world. So, let's see. If everything is in the hands of Hashem, I feel secure. Everything is by divine providence. Everything is by Hashem plan. So that means I can cultivate and I can develop more security. And that will take away my anxiousness and the fear factor that's in the negative. And if really the only free choice I have on this earth is to see God in something, I can even feel less fearful of mistakes. Because even if, God forbid, I make a mistake, I did the best I could at the time. And I realized that even my mistakes, I could see God in it. And I remember learning a teaching of the Rebbe that, like, and it's a teaching I'll say in Hebrew and then I'll explain in English, that it says, Yerida letzorech aliyah. That the going downhill, as it were, Yerida is to go down. Like, let's say you make a mistake and you fell, you fell, you really wanted to be, nice, and then you were a bit angry, or you didn't share, or whatever it is, and you fell down. You weren't your best self that moment. But that Yerida, that falling down, Hashem can plan to get you to a next level. So the aliyah, the going up, can only really happen sometimes. It's like as if you need to make that mistake, and you need to go through that experience of regretting the behavior that you did in that downtime to be a springboard to help you get to the next level. Because if you didn't go down, then you wouldn't have been motivated to reach even new heights, to reach even a higher level, and to be even the better you. So even our mistakes are by divine plan. Even our falling, Hashem created purposefully so that we have something to get us to work harder to be better. So when you have this kind of attitude and understanding, then you feel protected, you feel safe, you feel not alone in the journeys of every day. Because Hashem is always with you. And Hashem is helping you in every way that you are, facing. So then you're not as fearful. And it's just so freeing. So we have to bring God into our mind, bring God into our heart, so it'll help us see the truth. So it'll help us see God in everything. And then you had that free choice to get to that place where you're using your weakness, because it's really not a weakness, it's your greatest strength. Okay, so this is our goal for today, especially with everything that's going on right now. We can't let what's going on outside destroy our mental health. We cannot let what's going on and on in this world, oh my gosh, what's been going on, right? Steal our inner peace and our joy in being alive, in being an example of what it is to have faith. Yes, there's a lot going on right now. But again, this is where we have free choice to whether we're going to cope with it with faith and see that Hashem is directing everything for our benefit, that one day we will get to see, or not. Let's not let the Yetzer Hara take over. Let's let the Yetzer Tov take our fire and turn it into awe and wonderment. It's just, can you imagine the difference between a doom's heavy, anxious day and an awe and wonderment? It's it's just incredibly freeing to just have that power to capture the moments of the day and see the good in whatever's happening. Always praying for all those who are suffering, always feeling that we want to see a better day, a better world, always having hope that our good deeds are going to, be that channel by which things are going to change for the better. Yes, it's a daily work. Hi, everyone. So, everything is in the hands of Hashem. Chutz me yirat Hashem. Everything is in the hands of Hashem, except do you see God in this or not? That's your free choice. And the more you bring awe and wonderment into your day, first of all, it's just funner. It's just like so much delight in the day when your brain can go that direction instead of the other direction. It is about faith for sure. Yes, there's a teaching that Hashem, wants us, to have in the night times faith. Night times meaning when things aren't looking so bright. But in the teaching it says that it's really Hashem has faith in us, because it's emunascha, which is like Hashem has faith in us that we'll be able to manage. Yes, every day that's what we can do. So let's upgrade from fear, anxiety, panic, the unknown to awe and wonderment in whatever's going on in our life. Trying to see the best in the situation and not looking with our eyes, okay? Looking with our mind, looking with our heart, looking in with our faith, and have better days. Oh, isn't that interesting? Why did that happen? I should I guess maybe I should block. This is very interesting. I'm just noticing the change of the color. Okay. Wow, I'm really happy to hear that listening daily has helped you. This is my intention, because I feel like, when I was a young child, seeing the world and everything that it was going through, it was just like hard for me, really hard for me. And once I studied this deeper teachings of the Torah and trained my brain to switch tracks from the fear of the unknown to this type of faith, the days have become so delightful. The days have been a constant, smile, even in the midst of some really hard experiences. So it doesn't have to be like this bubbly outside smile all the time, but it's the bubbly smile inside, that you're not alone, that Hashem is guiding everything, that whatever will be, and you have full trust. And in that way, it's just like it's just a freeing of your being. Okay, so I hope this finds you well. I hope you will use your fear factor, if you're that type of personality, to understand that this is your greatest power. Like Yitzhak Avinu had that greatest power to have awe and wonderment of Hashem. And remember, there's like different levels. I happen to choose the awe and wonderment because back in the days, many, thousands of years ago, we were taught to be fearful of God, And this generation, the Rebbe of Lubavitch taught us that we could really skip that step and just go directly into the awe and wonderment of Hashem. Because, back in those days, the Jewish people were kind of like at the toddler, infantile stage of their relationship with Hashem. And so Hashem needed to be a little more strict like a parent, for our good. And so that, the teachings of the Torah was about fearing God, oh my gosh, he's so great, he's so grand, and he's so powerful, and like, I need to listen, because otherwise, I won't get all the blessings. But that was when we were like a younger generation, when just like younger children have parents that reprimand them not to touch the hot oven, not because they want to be bossy, or not because they want to, have their children fear them, but because they wanted to protect their child. So Hashem had to use those kinds of tactics back then to get us to understand the benefit and beauty of following his instructions. But now that we've become closer and closer to that adult relationship with Hashem, it's not about fearing. It's about being in awe and wonderment of how great Hashem is. And every opportunity that you can see the greatness of Hashem, whether it's like the oven that, voila, has fire and you can make food. It's mind-blowing how Hashem created man with such wisdom to create these things. Even that is using your fear factor in a holy and good way for awe and wonderment. Anything, you go to the bathroom and you put the faucet on and you see water running. How back in the days they had to go, out in the freezing cold with buckets, and what did they get? 1 bucket or 2? Wow. So anything in the physical world that you can get in this habit of being in awe of, the simplest of things, you're using your fire in a good way, because you're blown away in a good way by the beauty of what's happening around you. And so then your brain is in a habit all day long doing that. Then when something not so seemingly and mind-blowing and you'll try to see the silver lining. You'll try to find something that'll help you be in awe of it, instead of stuck in the glue of fear in a not good way. And there's a book called Kuntrasa Vaida, which the Rebbe Rashab, writes how awe and wonderment is so much easier to develop than even love of Hashem. Love of Hashem, really, there's a set time in your prayers, and it just depends how smart you are in some ways, how much you've connected, how much you've learned, and it takes time more and a precise time during prayer, and we're going to go into that this week. But fear of God, awe and wonderment of Hashem is all day long, easy to cultivate, easy to develop. And so we just have to get into this habit, and it should start with young children, and to help train them to see the awe in this place called earth. And of course, as you get older and older, you can be in awe and wonderment of everything that's happening in the beyond this world. As the more you learn about God's creation, and and that will, with time, you'll get older and older, and you can delve more deeply into the Torah teachings, and you can get even more awe and wonderment from the wisdom of Hashem, from learning Torah. I mean, we just got the Torah, right? And so as you get older and you more understand God's wisdom of his Torah, it also increases your awe and wonderment of Hashem. I always give the example. Let's say I had this incredible best friend, which I actually, Baruch Hashem, hope you can relate to this. And I start telling you about her, and I can tell, well, you'll kind of be in awe a bit about her because you're hearing it. But imagine, let's say, I brought you over to my house, and let's say she's my Rebbitzin, and not just my best friend, and you see her in action, you see how throughout the Shabbat she helped, how throughout the Shabbat she gave maybe a Dvar Torah, and you're so the more you get to know her, the more you're wow, she is a powerhouse, wow, she's amazing. And so you have more of a connection because you're interacting with this Rebbitzin, right? So the same thing, lahavdil, but with Hashem. So the more you learn his Torah, the more this awe and wonderment of Hashem's ways, because you're getting to know him more by learning his Torah. So anyway, I hope that from today, from this class, I know you're, going through a lot right now with being stuck at home in the pandemic, with hearing what's going on. I don't even want to say what we've been hearing the last couple days. That we should just upgrade. I always say, if like we just reach new heights. Like, let's not be, captive by our Yetzer taking our fear factor and getting us in a state of anything but positive, by directing our mind, training our mind that we can use this in a holy and good way, and we can enjoy, and we can have like mind-blowing days in awe and wonderment, with even when things are not going our way. And we have to, because it's enough. We're not going to let the Yetzer Hara trick us, not let it steal our power of our imagination. Yeah, we have a power of imagination called Koach Hadimyon. And this power of imagination, again, if we don't cultivate it and we don't develop it and channel it in a holy and positive way, by seeing the good of the world, by seeing the awe and wonderment of Hashem's creations, then the faculty of imagination makes all kinds of associations between one thing and the other, and then we get trapped into this state of anxiousness, fear, anxiety, and so forth. And that could then lead to depression. And that could lead to then, really stealing our day, our joy, our life force. And of course, we can't let it. That's the mission of why we're on this earth, to not let the Yetzer Hara use our faculty of imagination in a negative way, God forbid. Use our fire, God forbid, in a negative way. We got to use it for the good. So, any questions before we start the next part of our class today, which is how to channel anxiety, fear to the positive of awe and wonderment? Wow, thank you for all joining. So happy to see. Oh, wow. And if not, you can private message me later. So the second portion of our getting together here is using art to really help our brain get in the habit of being able to really actualize and really put to action what we just learned. So you can go ahead, get some paper and pen, even just to jot some of the ideas down, and maybe later make this picture, or if you want to, you could start coloring now and be your, because when we create through pictures, it really helps our brain to remember what we've learned and help us put it into action. Okay, so the idea that comes to me is, we said, so that our eyes can see the truth of what's happening, right? So you could see, maybe put, a big pair of glasses, or a magnifying glass, and see yourself with a magnifying glass, searching for the truth, meaning to see the truth of what's going on, like that Hashem is behind what's happening. Remember, we said, Akol midei shamayim chutz me yirat shamayim, that everything is in the hands of Hashem. The only free choice that we have is to see God in this or not. So you can see a picture of yourself, like kind of, like a detective with the magnifying glass, and searching, like in a way that will train your mind to say, what I see right now, I'm not going to look at. I'm going to look at the deeper message of what's happening here. I'm going to see, my free choice here is to see God in this event and what's happening. That it's not random, that it's not cool. It's just, it's directed by divine providence. The word is divine providence. Hashem mashgiach. Like someone who is a mashgiach and watches over the food to make sure it's kosher in the restaurants. So Hashem mashgiach, the whole world, to make sure everything that happens according to his will, according to what he deems necessary to happen. Or you can make a picture, someone like anxious, with a look of like whatever, and then on the opposite side, see a person like, and then maybe make an X on it. Like, that's not the way we want to be. No, that's not. But then focus more on making the picture of seeing a person in awe and wonderment, like looking up at the sky and like with a big smile, like how cool it is that there's, in the springtime, dead leaves come to bright and colorful green trees that it looks so like so not alive, this tree, and all of a sudden you see life. Like how amazing is that? And so like see yourself looking at a tree with the beautiful colors and like seeing God in creation. And like being blown away, not by the wind, but by your mindset, like how amazing it is, like that you're, you know, that you're able to witness God's miracles in the world. Or we can, you know, make a picture of a fire, okay? And the fire maybe in front of the campsite. Oh, actually I have this one right here recently. Here's a picture of a fire. And so you see you can make even a picture like this in a campfire. And, this is from this book of mine, Let's Go Camping and Discover Our Nature. And it talks about, in this book, about the fire, because they go through like nature and they see the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. In their camping experience, and they get to understand themselves. They discover their own nature, that, oh, so I have a lot of fire. So you can see the campfire, and that's a good fire. It's keeping them warm. They're maybe, you know, roasting potatoes and they're making food. It's keeping them warm. So like in this picture, see your fire. See your fire as something so good that, yes, right now I'm a little maybe anxious and I've been fearful maybe, but or I've been arrogant or I've been angry. But like, this is really, I'm going to channel this fire in a good way. And so when you see the picture of the fire that's used in a good way, it'll remind you that your weakness is your greatest strength. And then my biggest strength is my fire, if you're that type of personality. We all have fire, water, air, and earth. But again, remember, some people have more fire than others. So they are more prone toward anxiety and fear and panic. And God forbid, some people really suffer terribly. And some people are just, you know, not aware that that's their godly gift, like Yitzhak Avinu. So you can actually see Yitzhak Avinu, maybe, a picture of Yitzhak Avinu. And you, if you're that personality type. But we all have to work on it, because we all have fire, water, and air, and earth in us. So you can see yourself with Yitzhak Avinu and sitting by his tents and like feeling honored that you know, you want to learn from his ways of how he used his fire in a good way, that he was one of the forefathers. And that you too can be a giant in this way because of your gifts. All right, I think we have enough pictures, but if you have any ideas, please, you can jot them down here for others to get your idea of what painting you would make with what we learn. I don't know, I think for kids it's very fun to see the world with not just a microscope, but a telescope. Like, whoa, I need a telescope to really go down deep into the world and like see what's going on in Hashem's plan. But always with trust. Okay, so let's go to the next part. And the next part is the guided imagery. Making a mind movie of yourself Now using what you just learned. So that no matter what's going on in the world, we're going to train ourselves today to see God in it. Whatever it is. So we're going to get in a comfortable position and we're going to try to relax our body. As we always say, when we relax our body, then our mind begins to relax. And when our mind begins to relax, then our brain has the capacity and the ability to tap into its brain power. Because there's so much power in our brain that we can access through making this time to tap into its power. And therefore have more of an ability to live what we just learned. Okay, so we're going to see ourselves maybe going to a place right now after we take some few deep breaths, and in a vision, like we're just like walking toward a most incredible, beautiful place. I actually want to show you here. I don't know if you see the beautiful view here. Just notice that we should enjoy the view, right? The view, the awe and wonderment of Hashem's creation. So as you're taking every step, maybe I'll step out of the way here. Can you see? Like the palm trees, the mountains, and just like see yourself walking toward like, maybe let's go to the desert, since we just got the Torah in the desert. And remember, we were just talking about time alone. And that's why the Torah was given in the desert, because Hashem wants us to realize the time alone with ourselves is the time to really develop our higher visions and really develop ourselves through this time alone. So I'm seeing us go to a desert, but if you want to go elsewhere, take yourself where you want to be. And you can notice like there's just like a stillness, and there's just like this beauty around you. It's just like so quiet, so peaceful, and you just feel like this place was made for you to go there and give you the time to really think deeply about the goals that you had made for yourself upon receiving the Torah all over again. And today, the focus was on to see God in everything and to upgrade your fear factor of your soul, but in a holy way, to have awe and wonderment of Hashem. So in this place, you just start to like feel the feeling of awe and wonderment of this time to be in this place, a place of stillness, of peace and tranquility, and to enjoy the beauty around you. Like incredible, like how everything is so stunningly, shockingly gorgeous, vibrant, the beautiful colors of this place. The sky that's so blue, the greenery, the little greenery in a desert, right? But just enjoy the beauty of this time, to be alone, you and your own mind, and to think the things that we just learned together. And then see yourself thinking. The more you think about the awe and wonderment of this place, and like your mind is it's just a stunning experience to see the incredible creation of Hashem. And then say to yourself, every walking moment, I want to feel this way. Every minute of the day, I want to catch myself and be in awe and wonderment of the moment. That I have a chance to use my legs to help my mother. That I have a chance to use my hands to be more loving to my brothers and sisters. To use my hands to share. Like, wow, I have hands and I can use them to share. It's like mind-blowing the way God created my hands. And then I'm doing something with them. To think about, you know, the wonder of your eyes, to be able to read things and study things and to become more knowledgeable about Hashem and reading His Torah. And then to like think of the way your mouth moves to make you be able to communicate with somebody else. Like exactly the way your teeth, your tongue, your lips all work together. It's like, what? My mind, I want to use it to share goodness and kindness. My heart that just keeps pumping blood and keeping my whole body alive, but also my heart that knows how to feel, to have compassion. Maybe my mom's going through so much pressure and I'm going to feel for her and I'm going to help her more. I'm going to like get along better with everyone just so it won't be as hectic at home. Thank you, Hashem, for my heart that could feel someone else's pain, someone else's stress. Be in awe of wonderment that you can feel. Anything that you can think of in your life, that you can be like blown away by its power, by its might, by its gift that you have in your life. And then, as you're walking along this place, thinking of all the awe and wonderment of God's creation in you, in the world, then say a little prayer. Please, Hashem, help me. Help me remember this, that my only free choice is to see you in whatever's happening. Maybe go back in time and see something that happened and like really be at peace with it. That if it happened, it was meant to be. If it happened, and if you didn't see God in it before, recreate history now and see God in it now. Like as if you're giving a kiss to Hashem. Like, thank you, Hashem. Now I see, like this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to get closer to you, and this is how I'm going to be connected to you, and this is how it's going to make me feel happy day in and day out, no matter what happens around me. And then pray to Hashem, please, I want to live a life of delight. To delight in my trust in you, to delight in my awe and wonderment of your greatness and your majesty and your protection and your always being near me, creating safety and comfort. So, Hashem is answering your prayer, and you took the time in this most sacred space to brain train so that every day will be a different day because of today, because of the time we spend together. And as you begin to slowly walk out of this place, You feel very appreciative. You feel very calm. You feel very hopeful. And you're walking with this sentence, I fear no evil. I fear no evil. Because there is no evil. Everything is from Hashem, and everything has meaning and purpose and reason. And you begin to open your eyes. And you keep saying to yourself, do I see God in this or not? That is my free choice. That's the only free choice I have. Do I see God in this or not? Do you see God now? In it or not? That is the question. All right, so thank you for joining today. And I will continue what I had planned for the next coming days tomorrow. I just felt it was so necessary. I was getting so many calls of people being in such fear because of what's been going on. I felt like we should reinvestigate this and strengthen each other here, especially our children. They need it more than anything. Imagine they're getting this when they're young, and blessings. Yep. Bye-bye. And remember, keep shining by smiling through it all. We're getting there. All of us together. Bye-bye.